Hey everyone, my name is Rebecca Merrill, and I work on all things digital at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City. In this series, Cathedral From Home, I call up some of my colleagues from the cathedral to see how they're faring in the pandemic. Today, I'm chatting with Christina Kay, who works as an administrator in the cathedral's music department, about how she's adjusted to her job since working from home. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
First question, most importantly, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I definitely feel like I've adjusted to the new normal as well as possible. And it's like super weird. I mean, like everybody else, I would love to be able to go out and work, go out and see people and all of that. I have one roommate, but essentially it's just me in my room all the time. But I mean, that said, I do feel really lucky. Like I'm healthy, I have what I need, and I'm able to do at least some of my work from home, the admin work from home, and still connect with people on Zoom. So all things considered, I'm doing fine.
Yeah. uh, so like you just mentioned, you do admin work for the music department. Can you tell me a little bit about how you came to that role and what it looked like before the cathedral shut down?
Sure. So I started this role in September of 2019. So this is still my first season at the cathedral.
Hmm.
A very eventful season.
Yeah, right.
um, that actually happened because Ray Nagam's wife, I was doing some professional organizing for her last summer, and that was around the time that this position opened up, and she recommended me to Ray, her now husband, and that the rest is history. So I'm really grateful for that. And then the way it looked before, so a big part of my role, I mean, I basically coordinate everything administratively and connect between departments and stuff. But
Mhm.
another big part of my role is concert content. So like coordinating programs for the concerts, communicating with artists about things, in addition to payroll. And the concerts aren't happening anymore. So that's
Right.
a big change, but that's what I did before.
Yeah, and so like you mentioned, the concerts aren't really happening right now. So how has your work shifted and adjusted since we have closed?
I think like everybody to an extent anyways, a lot of stuff is starting to be more virtual. So we've started doing like this Tuesdays at 6 program where so far it's been Ray at the organ, and next week we're going to have our artist in residence David Briggs. So we're trying to do like smaller musical offerings, so that, and then we have some social media content that we've been vamping up. Like we've been having the musicians of the cathedral choir share, and sometimes us on the music staff like share performances from home and things like that. So I've been coordinating that kind of stuff. So my job has basically shifted from like in-person concerts and making programs to like curating and coordinating content creation for online offerings.
Yeah, so it's basically like the same, but in a totally different way.
Yeah, like the same but totally different. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't feel at all like the same. Like in some ways, I'm still coordinating between departments, but in the concert way, it feels completely different.
yeah. That's sort of, I feel like that's a bit of a running theme with the people that I talk to, where it's like if you were to like write out just like your job description, that really hasn't changed, but like how you get it done is completely different, you know?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So like you mentioned, you also have contributed some of these these home at home performances, and I know you're a professional singer as well. What has um, what have you learned? What has changed? What's new or interesting or different about singing from your home instead of singing live?
Oh my gosh. I mean, unless you're one of those people who's quarantined at home with another musician who can play or sing with you to create a
Hmm.
collaboration in person, it's that's not my situation. It's a totally different thing from performing live. I mean, it almost feels like just a, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just totally different. And so like, for example, I mean, there are certainly things I could sing without anybody playing with me, but typically a lot of the repertoire I do involves at least like a pianist or something. So the way that that looks virtually for me is that I speak on the phone with like, you know, Ray or with J.E., another one of our admins in the music team. And both of them are wonderful pianists. And so I'll be like, okay, here's the tempo that I want for this piece, like how fast I want it to go. And like, if there's a part where we have to slow down a little bit, like I'll like sing that to them through the phone. But then we can't rehearse it together in a normal sense because of lag issues through like Zoom and other platforms. So they'll like record their part before I do anything and send it to me. And then I have to like wear headphones and sing along to the track that they made, which is a totally like normally you're doing it at the same time. So there's it's you lose the playing off each other element, which is one of the most, for me anyways, one of the most fulfilling elements of making music with other people. So I think we all really miss that. But at the same time, it's kind of amazing like what you can still do. I mean, I think that never before have we been, you know, has that been required of us, and so we're making it work, and we're still able to like put out some pretty cool stuff. So that's been fun.
Yeah, it's the pieces you have done. I mean, everything has been beautiful, but the pieces you have done were very, very lovely. And people can find them. They're on our website and our social media. So as you mentioned, you are in your home. I am in my home. What sort of setup do you have? Do you normally work from home? What have you had to improvise anything? What's your setup like at home?
I mean, before the pandemic, I still did do some stuff from home, just email and things like that. And for my music admin job, I would come in 2 days a week, and then I would do the rest of the work. So it's kind of like 2/3 in the office, 1/3 out of the office. So that part, like I'm used to doing that kind of work, just sitting at my desk in my bedroom. But I feel like I'm basically in my room like 24/7 now. Just like maybe a quarter to a third of the time. And we don't have a living room in typical New York style. So, you know, it's kind of like here, the kitchen, and the kitchen is kind of where we need to be able to like prepare meals and eat. So I don't want to be like doing my work at the table all day. Yeah, it's kind of my room. In terms of improvising stuff, when it comes to recording, I've had to do some pretty like weird things to set up a camera situation. So far I've been using my iPad mini that's like 5 or 6 years old actually, but it works quite well for my camera. And so like I have a music stand that I'll put right to my right. And so my closet, I'll just show you my closet. That's the only like white space that I have for a background. So I'll stand with my back against the closet. I have my music stand like raised up, and then I have this this Zoom recorder box that I tape my iPad to it so it doesn't fall over, and I put that on the music stand, and then I also take the Zoom recorder out and I put that next to it because that's a better audio quality than my iPad. And then I will use my computer to like stream the sound from the backing track that I have to use. So I'll just put on my desk. And then I need to get one of those, like, I forget what it's called. I think it's like an LED light ring or something like that. That's supposed to like cast a nice like light on your face. But until I get one, I have this very bright flashlight that I put on top of the Zoom box. So it's like shining on my face so that I don't look like I'm dead. I'm not using it right now, if you can't tell. But anyways, so yeah, it's I think I found something that works for now. But I just got Jen, Ray's wife, just lent me one of the music department's cameras. So I'm gonna play around with like a camcorder, and I might actually get one myself because I think that might be easier.
Yeah, that is. What's wild is like, you know, I see the videos that you all send, and it's like, oh, this is nice, Christina. And I see that, you know, that there's like a pairing up between the video of whoever is accompanying you and the singing. I'm like, oh, that must have been some work. But it's like, it's until you actually break down all of the things that you do to just even get the first part of it. It's like, for one 3-minute video, it's so much work.
No, it's incredible. And like, not to beat a dead horse, but I'll just tell you one more story. So this is a video I made, what's today, Thursday? On Tuesday, for this other thing I had to submit. There was a deadline for Wednesday, and I had made the day before, I had to make 2 videos. The day before I made the first video, and it was a 4-minute long video, and it took me like probably 3 or 4 hours to get everything finalized because I was having syncing issues with the audio and the video.
Yeah.
And then it turns out I was talking with my brother, one of my brothers is an audio engineer, and he was like, have you updated your computer? And I hadn't, and so I updated it, and then the syncing issue was fixed.
But
then on Tuesday, I made a second video, and I thought it was all going to be fine because my computer was updated.
Right.
But I probably spent 5 or 6 hours trying to get this video synced, and I couldn't. And I ended up, I was like posting on Facebook, and everything everybody suggested I'd already tried. And then I sent it to a friend who does this professionally, and he was like, "This is so weird. I have no idea why this is doing this." And I was like, "Oh no, like you can't figure it out either."
Yeah.
He eventually did figure it out, but then it turns out I discovered that my iPad wasn't updated, and that might have actually been the problem. But all that I probably spent like 6 hours editing this the second 4-hour video. So altogether, I spent 10 hours editing videos that were like altogether 10 minutes long.
Wow.
So I feel like for everybody right now, especially people in the performing, like visual performing arts, we have a big learning curve, and we're like trying to figure out how to do this, and it's taking forever right now. But I think we're all hoping that in the next couple of months we'll become experts, and it'll be like way less, but it's still it's a lot of extra work compared to normal, and it's amazing how much work it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like usually for a concert or for a recording, you have people who are experts in audio come in to set these things up and do it, or you have, video experts, or you have lighting experts come in. And since we can't collaborate with them in person right now, it's like you have to, even if you can call somebody or even if you can email somebody, at the end of the day, it's just you with your things trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's cool, like, to think about the opportunity of all of us getting to the point where we don't need. I mean, I don't want to say that we want to put like professional audio engineers and video engineers out of business, because they're always going to be needed in some scenarios. But I think the more independent artists can become, like, the better, just because it's already an expensive industry to be in the first place. So the more we can do ourselves, like, the better that's going to be for everyone. So, hopefully, in the next month, I will not have to take 6 hours to edit a video.
Yeah, I believe in you. Are there, even with all of this new way of working, the new things you have to learn, is there any sense of normalcy that you're finding in your days?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm realizing, I mean, I kind of already knew this, but I was sort of in denial about it, because I feel like if I live in New York City, I shouldn't be this kind of person, but I'm kind of a homebody. And I mean, I don't get me wrong, like, I love the energy of New York City. I love always having options of things to see or do. But I found a sense of normalcy in, like, creating my own daily routine. And it's not like I'm doing it exactly the same every day, or that I don't oversleep sometimes, but just like kind of blocking, like, I've been working in 2-hour blocks. So I'll do like 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening, or something like that. Or 4 in the afternoon. Yeah. And stuff like that. And, I schedule a walk for myself, because I'm not walking anymore otherwise, like I normally would be. And, yeah, I found that it's really helpful to have a schedule. And that's been helping to feel like I'm not just kind of wasting time and coasting and deciding what I'm going to do as I go along. I'm realizing that takes a lot more energy than I would have thought. And so if I decide what I'm going to do before the day actually arrives, then all I need to do is tweak it a little bit if necessary. Otherwise, it's already planned for me. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything about the transition that has surprised you in a good way or in a bad way about working from home? I mean, I guess you're working from home, but the large working from home.
In quarantined, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this to you and some other people at the Cathedral a few weeks ago, but it was actually kind of surprising to me in, like, a good way how adaptable I found myself, and I can say that that's true for a lot of people I know. I feel like pretty much most people, I mean, certainly it's a difficult time, and I don't want to downplay that side of things, and they're going to be, you know, it's going to be a struggle no matter what. But that said, like, it's just amazing how adaptable the human brain is.
For
And
sure.
you know, I mean, of course, like there was that beginning phase where I just, like, a lot of people were kind of in denial and like feeling a lot of emotions and having a hard time like coping with that. But after the first few weeks, it was like, okay, now my brain is ready to tackle this challenge and come up with creative solutions for things and like not give up, you know, not just like lie around and give up for months and months. So that's been encouraging to like see my brain adapting and like seeing that I actually do have the ability to like figure out what to do, even though it's not certain what's going to happen.
Yeah, there is definitely, for me at least, I mean, there's mourning and grief on a lot of layers right now, for sure. Um, but one of those things at first was mourning all the things that we did have planned, or I did have planned in my personal life or my professional life, that were no longer happening. And there was this period of just like deep sadness for all of these things that weren't going to happen, and just like feeling bad. And then what was wild is what you're saying is after a few weeks, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to feel like I'm sort of done feeling sad about this. So, okay, I can't, this concert that I was really looking forward to is not going to happen. So what can I do that could be really exciting, you know, instead, and starting to plan for things once we were able to mourn them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I think like a big part of the mourning process for me and for my artist colleagues is like the fact that we've lost at least half, if not all, of our livelihood right now. So in
Mm-hmm.
addition to like not being able to do stuff, like we also aren't making money anymore. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful to
Mm-hmm.
have the cathedral job because that's really been helping. But a lot of, you know, even so, I've lost about half of my income. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the future of performing in person is uncertain for the next couple of months, if not the next year or two. And, you know, the impact is going to like ripple beyond that. So that's been pretty difficult. I'd say that's probably the most difficult part for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, like, you know, difficult times breed innovation and like creativity. And I don't know, I'm trying to keep myself like open to like flexible and open in my mind about like what the future is going to look like, rather than being
Mm-hmm.
like, I have to keep doing exactly what I was doing before this happened. So I'm hoping that like, you know, I'm excited to see what kinds of opportunities will come up out of this, and they might be completely different from anything I imagined myself doing, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to be an audio engineer after this.
yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that that won't happen, but
Yeah.
other options.
Yeah. Yeah. Last but not least, one question I have for everyone is, I, like you're saying, when we get back to the cathedral, it probably won't look like it did before, and it may not ever look like that again. But what are you looking forward to when we are at the cathedral again?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everybody in person, like
Mm-hmm.
especially my team, because we've been meeting every week on Zoom, but it's just not the same. Like I haven't hugged anybody. I haven't hugged anybody for like 2 months because I don't live with like a significant other or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so like I'm just looking forward to like seeing everyone and hugging them and like being in person, and yeah, not having the screen. You know, there's always going to be a little bit of like unnaturalness. That's not really a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To talking to people like in a group, especially through a screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just looking forward to the normal interactions.
I know there's always the like, they're like, oh no, you, oh
Yeah.
no, you, what? Yeah.
And with the delay, sometimes you like somebody doesn't hear you until they've already started talking, even though you did
Yeah.
start before them, and it's just like
I
weird.
know, I know. Talk about like audio things where it's like, I know that I can hear myself, but I don't know what you can hear me,
Right.
you know, like it's very, and it's like if you like walk away, you know, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, maybe this pandemic will speed up the process of fixing lag time issues. I don't know. We'll see.
So, there we go. I know, I definitely, I've learned how good and not good my internet connection is. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to chat with me and share how you're doing. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I will see you in a somewhat awkward group Zoom call soon.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for the chat.
All right. Bye.